Fish on Fridays. I'm Al McCauley. Today I want to talk to you about a very popular early church martyr. Still very popular today, in fact. Many parishes are named after him, and he is the patron saint of athletes. And, I think about young men and women when they become confirmed and they go through that process and they take a name, a confirmation name. And if they're athletes, they will look, who is the patron saint of athletes? And they'll find this guy. And I'm talking, of course, about Saint Sebastian, who the church remembers every year on January 20th. Now, we don't know exactly when he was born, but we figured he was killed right around the year 288, 290 AD. And again, under the reign of the infamous Roman Emperor Diocletian. Of all the emperors that persecuted Christians in the early church, his was the most widespread, the bloodiest, the most violent. And so, unfortunately, Sebastian is going to meet his end during the reign of that guy, of Diocletian. But let's back up and look at him. He was the son of very wealthy parents. He was educated in Milan, which is in northern Italy, and he joined the army, and he quickly rose up the ranks because he was a very fit guy, and he was very good at what he did. In fact, eventually, he was elevated to the position of captain of the guard. He was very high up in the Roman army. Well, for Sebastian, though, he was introduced to Christianity, and he became Christian. But he kept it secret because he knew it was illegal, especially as a Roman soldier who's supposed to defend the Roman emperor, who's considered a god. And so here he is really saying, no, I worship Jesus. I worship the Christian God. And so he kept it secret. But he did it not necessarily out of fear. He did it because he wanted to be able to help people. And he knew he could do that given his position, his high rank. And so what he would do is he would go into the jails with impunity. No one would question why he would go into jails. And he would minister to Christians that were arrested, awaiting, often most of them awaiting punishment and death. He would bring them food. He would bring them comfort. He would pray with them. He'd give them a sense of hope. It was said that he would bribe jailers to stay longer, and he would even convert them. So he brought many other soldiers and many other jailers into, and prisoners who weren't Christian, into the faith by virtue of his bravery. And I'm believing that that's one of the reasons he's invoked as the patron saint of athletes, is because he was a brave guy. He was willing to undertake this. Unfortunately, he was discovered. They found out that he was a Christian, and they sentenced him to death by archers. Because he was a Roman soldier, he was going to die a painful death, but it would have been, there were worse ways he could have gone, let's put it that way. And so he was tied to a tree, and he was shot with many arrows, and he was left for dead. What happened is everybody just left him there, and he was ministered to by many people. In fact, one woman who was said to have ministered to him was someone who eventually became Saint Irene. And maybe a little homework for you to check out who Saint Irene was, but I digress. But he was taken down from this. The arrows were removed. He was nursed back to health, believe it or not. And so he went back to doing what he did before in terms of comforting other Christians. He wouldn't leave. He stayed where he was and kept helping people to learn about Christ. Unfortunately, one of the things he did was, when he was caught again, was he condemned Diocletian. And so the leaders had absolutely no qualms in saying, well, you're going to die, and this time we're going to make sure of it. So the sentence was to beat him to death with clubs, and that's how he died. It's fascinating when you see any iconography, images of Saint Sebastian. Almost always, he's either affixed to a tree with arrows piercing his body in different places, or he's holding arrows, and it's assumed that that's how he died. And it's not how he died. He died by being beaten to death with clubs, but he was well known for surviving that first onslaught, that first attempt at his life from the archer's arrows. But again, the patron saint of athletes, Saint Sebastian, gives us this wonderful example through the centuries of perseverance, of courage to stay strong in your faith, and to lead others in that faith and how you live. So, Saint Sebastian, if you know or love anybody who belongs to a church named Saint Sebastian, or maybe has that name, please feel free to share this content. We'd love it if you would follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. But either way, thanks for tuning in every Friday for Fish on Fridays. Until next time, please be good to each other, and God bless.